and welcome to another episode of The Naked Turner. I just got a request from a viewer on that last inlaid lid for a maple canister. He wanted to see more of the process, so I am going to entertain that idea, and I'm going to turn another canister out of maple. I found a real pretty figured piece of maple. I'm going to turn this down into a canister and try to do a little inlay in the lid. So let's get going and started on doing that. I already have a piece of maple roughed into a cylinder. Always remember to read, understand, and follow all the shop safety for any tool that you're going to be using, and most importantly, protect your eyes and your face if you're turning with a face shield. I have this piece of maple chucked up here in my scrolling jaw chuck, and my tailstock brought in with a live center. So what we're going to do is start creating a lid for this piece. And in order to do that, I have this extremely tightened down, just a little bit of pressure in from my tailstock, and I'm going to start out here. See just how trued up this is. That's pretty good. I'm going to come in here, my roughing gouge, rub the bevel, and I'm just doing kind of a finishing pass here. And I'm really just rubbing the bevel and taking the tiniest of little cuts on the edge of this. Alright, so now I've got a nice smooth finish on that. A little bit of sanding, and it'll be really sweet. I'm not sure if you can see how quilted this piece is up here at this end, but there's some beautiful quilting and some darker coloring here. Almost an ambrosiaing in this end of the piece here. There was a knot that was right here that I just turned a real small canister out of, and it turned out beautifully. So anyway, there I have that defined. Now what I'm going to do is pull my tailstock out of the way, and I'm going to come in, get my tool rest real close here, and I'm going to come in with this spindle gouge and try to do a little bit of a rounding cut and then a push cut across the face to get rid of that dimple. Starting here on the outer edge, roughing the bevel, introducing the cutter, turning the corner. There we go, and now probably have to do one more. No, that's pretty good. It's nice and polished, and since I'm going to be doing an inlay into the head of that, I don't have to worry about getting rid of that dot. As a matter of fact, it helps me keep the center point there. Alright, so now I'm going to decide exactly what size I can make this, and that one looks actually like it's going to be perfect size. So this one is my 1 and 5/16. It's 1 and 5/16, so that'll be good. Now what I like to do to get this started is I loosely tighten the quill in my tailstock, turn my speed down to about 450. Let's say 360 looks like a good speed since it's such hard wood. Okay, that's pretty good. There's a tiny little bit of a wobble. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to drill down in here about 1/8 of an inch or so. Recess. in the head of this canister. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this chuck, and if I needed to, I could always come back to this center point, pull this out of here, but I do have a secondary chuck. So I'm just going to be pulling this chuck off and putting my other chuck on. So once I have everything set up, I'll check back in and show you the next part of the process. Okay, so here I have another piece of this hairy oak that was what was left inside of my jaws at the end of turning one of the small canisters. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to set this in my jaws. Actually, maybe I'll even just set it all the way in. No, I'm going to set it out in my jaws. And let's see, yeah, this way. And what I'm going to try to do is get the face relatively parallel. Right about like that. Like it's, there we go. Oops. Yeah. Okay, there it is. Okay, I've got it tightened down. I don't want to tighten it too much because like happened on the last one of these, that will split out if you get it too tight, and it may even still split out. Alright, so now I'll bring my tool rest in right about there, and I'm going to be using my scraper to surface this off. Alright, looking good. Bit too high, and then down. There we go. Okay, let's get that surfaced real nicely. Okay, so now what I need to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to get an interior dimension here, which, boy, that's it right there, which should, in theory, also be the same as this drill bit here, which, yep, it is. Okay, so now I know the size of this insert. It's almost a shame. I would like to maybe be using this for a little larger insert, but this will do. Okay, so now what I do is I eyeball approximately where center is, and then when both ends touch the same line, I know I'm centered. So that shows me to the outside of that groove should be really close. So now what I like to do is sneak up on that size. And let me zoom in a little bit here. I'm going to change camera slightly. So hopefully that's a little better view. Get a little more light on this, hopefully. There we go. Alright, so now I'm shooting for the outside of that line with my narrow parting tool. And all I'm going to do is remove enough of this material out here that I can try to fit this piece on, just to see if I'm getting close. I don't want to remove too much material because I don't have a lot of material to play with. Okay, so it looks like I can go just a little bit tighter, or a little bit smaller, I should say. Okay, let's try that. Coming in with my piece. Okay, so that's a little loose. Alright, so now getting rid of that outside edge. And alright, let's try that. Alright, just ever so slightly smaller. And I like to check this quite often because you can easily go too far and then you've lost your insert. Okay, let's try that. That should be real close. Okay, it's almost fitting on there. So now, just taking off a tiny bit more here. Alright, now it should fit perfectly. Alright, there it is. That's the size. So now if I taper that a little bit at an angle, from that point I'll get a nice tight fit. It'll be a slight wedge fit. So coming in, and I'm putting a little bit of a bevel on it. Okay, there it is. Sliced free. Okay, so now I can open this ring up. I'm lucky. Yes, it is. I'm lucky. This piece is still intact, so I may be able to do an inlay with this ring and then another lighter contrasting ring inside of it. So now, let's check, see how this fits. Oh yeah, see, that's going to be a really nice tight fit. Okay, so next thing to do is mount this back up, mount this piece back up on here. But I got a really nice tight fit. I can glue that up and tap it in there. Alright, check back in a second. Now all I'm going to do, put a little bit of thick CA glue on this one because I have some now. I wanted to use it on the last one, but all I had here in the shed was some thin. So now I come in, put a little bit on the back side of this, put it in the old hole there, bring my tailstock up with a little pressure block, and here we go. push that in there. There we go. And I've got a great fit on that because it was tapered like that. So now what I can do is let that CA cure up a little bit. I may even spray a little bit of zip kicker on there, here, or I mean zip kicker on the CA. Okay, there we go. Alright, so the next thing to do, get your safety gear on, and it's looking real good. Alright, so let me get a little more light on the subject there. Okay, now, making sure my spindle gouge will hit the center. I could come down just a little micro amount. Alright, so now what I can do is come in and surface that off. Put on your safety gear, put your eye stuff on, your shield on when you're doing this, because little bits and pieces of the CA or the zip kicker can fly off of there. Plus I have no tailstock pressure right now, so I'm doing light cuts because I don't want to get a catch and have this piece get torqued out of center. Now has it down to the layer of my maple. There is a small piece of tear out right there from where this was at one point in a fire, so I'm going to try to get past that piece of tear out. Okay. Alright, good. I got past the piece of tear out. I got a little bit of burning right there, but I'm going to take care of that with some sanding. So there's the inlay. It has a little bit of a cupping to it, which I really like. And now I'm going to come in here and do a little sanding. Alright, that's looking really sexy. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of sanding sealer on. And the sanding sealer I'm using is the same stuff I always use, just a shellac of denatured alcohol. Alright, so to make the canister lid, I like to use my narrow parting tool, which I've made out of an old forged steel kitchen knife, and it works incredibly well. Just how beautiful that piece is going to be, and it's super polished right now. I'm going to actually take a little bit of wire wool, nib that. Oh yeah. And then put a little bit more shellac based sanding sealer on. Let it drink some more up. There we go. Let that dry a second. I think I'm actually on this, I'm going to put a little bit of CA glue actually finish on the end of this, because I'm noticing a little divot here that the CA glue might fill. So I'm just going to put a tiny dab of CA, pull it toward the outside edge. Okay, that's good. And now it just needs to be sanded. Then I will denib it again. But now it just needs to be sanded with a little bit of oil. Okay, so I just was nibbling away at this. I'm not sure where my battery ran out there, but I was nibbling away. Now I've got this to fit almost completely. I'm going to leave it at that point so I can do a little bit of sanding to get it to fit snugly. Let's pull it out. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to be coming in with my Forstner bit that is a little bit smaller than that hole and removing the material down here in the middle. But I first need to add my extension to my Forstner. So let me do that and I'll check right back in. Alright, so I'm set up with my 1 5/16" Forstner bit. I'm spinning right now down at 360, and I know I'm going to be going into this mark that I have here. Okay, so I sanded down the inside until I could get a nice fit, and I'm aligning the grain. Now I have a real nice tight fit here. Let me get rid of some of this dust. Oh, shoot. It's almost a little too tight right now. I can't even open it. Oh. Wow. Alright, so that's a little bit too tight maybe. And the best way for me to open these when they get a little too tight is to hope that I don't damage them by doing this. But find the spot that's open the most, get it started like that, and then pry it off. Alright. Alright, so now, usually what happens is these will loosen up a little bit, but it is pretty damn tight, so I'm just going to sand a tiny bit more on that inner edge right there. It doesn't take much once you get to this point. Okay, so now, lining up my grain, right there. Right there. Okay, that looks good. Wiping off any excess dust. Okay, that looks good. So now I'm just going to sand this. Camera angle so you can see a little bit, although I really want to keep you seeing the end grain here on this piece of inlay. I'm going to polish that up a little bit more. Okay, so that's the first coat. Now coming back in with the wire wool. And denibbing everything. Oh yeah, that is just getting a really nice finish on it. Okay, coming back in with the denatured and shellac, putting another layer Okay, so here's the finished piece. It's got some amazing chatoyance or fire figure in the maple, and then there's the inlay, which came out really nice. It's got a good finish. This piece here is what is this, 5 inches long and about 1.5 inches across. There you have it. Oh, and I had a little mishap when I was parting this off. I actually went through the bottom because I didn't get an accurate measurement, so I had to plug the bottom with another piece of maple, and it came out really nice as well. So just wanted to share that with you, Mike. There it is. Hope you enjoyed. Please give me a thumbs up, like this video, and share it if you feel so inclined. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much for your continued support, and if you're not a subscriber, please take the time to click subscribe. I have a lot of really good content on here. Hopefully some of it might be inspirational to you. Thanks again for watching. Take care.